You've come out, and yes, you have a concession on cars. You have a flat tariff still of 10%. Are you disappointed with that? Is this just the start?
This was supposed to be the moment. The press conference, the cameras, the Prime Minister standing tall, ready to sell the illusion of a historic trade deal. He looked confident, polished, almost triumphant. But then Beth Rigby asked a question, and within seconds, the illusion began to crack. What followed wasn't a press event at all. It was a slow-motion political collapse. One question after another, and you could hear the hesitation creep into his voice. You could see the panic flicker behind his eyes. The mood shifted instantly, from victory to damage control. He tried to smile. He tried to spin. But Beth didn't let go. So what did she ask? What was he trying to hide? And how did the man who promised bold change end up defending a 10% tariff as if it were a trophy? Is he desperately trying to cover his embarrassment while still bowing to Trump? Let's find out.
Back in February, when you did a press conference with Donald Trump in the White House, he said, we could end up with a real trade deal where tariffs wouldn't be necessary. We'll see. Those were Donald Trump's.
Trump, the man Starmer quietly despises, showed more confidence in Britain's trade potential than Britain's own prime minister. And Beth knew it. She didn't ask a question. She delivered a punchline. His deal was dead on arrival, and she came armed with receipts. Trump promised 0. Starmer came back with 10% and dared to call it progress. You could almost hear the ego deflating in real time. It was a perfectly set trap for public humiliation, and Starmer walked straight into it.
And to those voters last week in the local elections that gave you the worst ever vote share you've had in a set of elections as a Labour Party, what's your message?
Here it comes, the kill shot. This wasn't just a question from Beth Rigby. It was a public dissection, a political autopsy carried out live. And the body on the table was the Labour Party soul, cold, lifeless, and unrecognizable. Labour didn't just lose in that moment. It flatlined. This wasn't a stumble or a minor misstep. It was a full-scale collapse. A national vote of no confidence etched in red across every ballot box, like an epitaph. A tombstone for Starmer's promises. A funeral for the so-called new direction he claimed to represent. And Starmer stood there like a man watching his house burn, not reaching for water, not trying to stop it, but applauding the flames.
Thank you.
Well, my message to them is that we absolutely get the message that they sent last.
No, Keir, you don't. Because if you truly understood the anger surging through those results, you wouldn't be standing there smiling like you just opened a community center. You'd be apologizing for betraying the people who trusted you, for selling fairy tales of change and delivering 10% tariffs and half measures instead. His calm tone is insulting. His message is an empty reflex. This isn't leadership. It's a man in denial, wrapped in a suit that can't carry the weight of public disappointment. Starmer wasn't rattled. He was rehearsed. And that's the real problem. He treats voter fury as something to manage, not something to fix.
We will remain focused as ever on the national interest, and I have them in mind. I have the workforce here in mind when we make the decisions that we make. I don't make them for my sake. I make them on behalf of working people across this country.
This line is so hollow, it practically echoes. It deserves a laugh track and a slow clap from a room full of baffled factory workers. Starmer looks straight into the camera and says, I don't make decisions for myself. I make them for working people. Really? This is the same man who sat across from American trade negotiators, got steamrolled, then flew home wrapped in the Union Jack like an under-rehearsed drama student in a low-budget World War II play. He didn't fight. He didn't bargain. He didn't lead. He folded. And now he wants to march around factory floors, posing in high-vis vests, pretending he's Churchill with a clipboard. The workers he claims to represent aren't getting policy. They're getting PR stunts and empty promises. He talks about defending their interests, yet every major decision, from trade to tariffs to industrial leverage, points in the opposite direction. He says he doesn't make decisions for himself, but the truth is harsher. He's too afraid to make any real ones at all. When pressure builds, he doesn't lead. He hides wrapped in symbols, surrounded by handlers, hoping the costume of leadership can conceal the absence of courage. Before we go any further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share it, and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive videos on the groundbreaking changes happening on Offscript. Now let's continue.
And in relation to this deal, yes, we would like to go further in relation to tariffs, but I think it's really important that we've been able to get this deal over the line now, because in that way we've been able to protect and save and enhance jobs right here, right now. And that reduction from 27.5% down to 10% makes a huge difference to firms like JLR and the decisions they have to make about the future.
Let's not sugarcoat it. This is Starmer admitting failure, then wrapping it in corporate-friendly spin and hoping the press won't notice. A 10% tariff on British cars isn't a stepping stone. It's not a smart compromise. It's a concession dressed up as progress, a defeat served with a press release and a smile. And look at the example he chooses to showcase, Jaguar Land Rover, a British icon already struggling to survive in a brutally competitive global market. A company that needed zero tariffs just to stand a fighting chance against EU and Asian rivals. Instead, thanks to this so-called deal, JLR now faces a 10% surcharge on every vehicle it exports to the United States. And Starmer has the nerve to say this secures jobs. How exactly? By making British manufacturing more expensive and less appealing to investors? By handing German and Korean automakers a clear advantage, while waving a small flag beside a factory on the brink? This isn't an economic strategy. It's political triage in a PR hospital, trying to revive a dead credibility with empty slogans and shaky gestures. If this is what Starmer calls a win, it's frightening to imagine what defeat looks like. But for workers in Birmingham and beyond, there's no need to imagine it. They'll be living it.
Decisions that I want them to make about the future. Steel and aluminium obviously been in the news hugely in recent weeks. To get that down to 0% as well.
Let's unpack the con here. Yes, zero tariffs. But what about zero protections? You scrapped the tax, yet left the back door wide open. Now cheap foreign steel can pour into the UK market. And who pays the price? British steelworkers. Port Talbot, Scunthorpe, Redcar. Real places, real jobs. And Starmer? He's too busy congratulating himself for tearing down safeguards, playing the role of a loyal neoliberal, while the industries holding communities together are left exposed.
Pharmaceuticals is one of the most important sectors in our economy, and therefore there's nothing to get down at the moment because there isn't a tariff, but if there should be, to already have got into a position of significantly preferential.
He openly admits there are no tariffs on pharmaceuticals. Nothing to cut, nothing to negotiate, nothing to win. And yet we're still expected to clap. We're meant to pretend this is a breakthrough, a strategic triumph, some masterstroke of diplomacy. But let's be honest, this isn't policy. It's performance. When you got nothing meaningful to show, you grab the nearest industry with a respectable PR image and throw around words like preferential. That's exactly what this is. No new investment. No regulatory shift. Just smoke and mirrors, with Starmer grinning as if he's reinvented global trade. This is what you say when substance runs out, but you still need a soundbite for the 6 o'clock news. It's filler. It's fluff. It's Starmer.
So I measure this by the reactions of those that are most affected by the tariffs, which is the workforce here. It's those in pharmaceuticals, those that are working in steel and aluminium.
Which workforce exactly? Name one. This is Starmer's favorite trick. He hides behind working people as a human shield to dodge real scrutiny. If anyone questions the deal, he acts as if you're attacking some imaginary factory worker he never once consulted. But here's the truth. No factory worker is celebrating a 10% tariff. No steel mill is applauding a surge of American imports. He's inventing consensus and doing it badly.
But look, there's a huge ambition here. There's a lot in the deal about tech. We are two of the leading economies on tech. There's a huge amount we can do on tech as well. So we want to go further, in those areas and on tech.
When everything else collapses, he reaches for the word tech and hopes it sounds clever. But trade deals aren't built on buzzwords. They're built on hard terms. This isn't Silicon Valley. It's Sunderland. It's South Wales. It's Sheffield. There is no tech lifeline for the millions whose industries have just been sold out. He's waving a hologram while the factory floor is being torn up beneath people's feet. Trade deals aren't forged in TED Talks. They aren't about abstract futures or shiny digital fantasies. They're about terms, jobs, tariffs, steel, cars, real things in real places. Sunderland, South Wales, Sheffield, places where people wake up every morning wondering if their factory will still be there by Christmas. There's no tech sector rescue for the man in Rotherham watching his foundry shut down. There's no digital miracle for the woman in Coventry as her job is quietly outsourced.
Keeping our red lines absolutely in place on SBS and on food standards and agricultural standards, because that matters so much to us here.
Food standards. That's the hill Keir Starmer chose to die on. After waving the white flag on car tariffs, surrendering steel leverage, and leaving entire industries twisting in the wind, he wants applause for standing firm on cucumbers. This is where he draws his red line, not on jobs, not on sovereignty, not on tariffs that actually decide the survival of British manufacturing, but on symbolic agricultural rules. This isn't leadership. It's performative politics dressed up as principle. He holds food standards up like a shield, hoping the public won't notice that he traded away the real economic battle and kept the one issue that makes for an easy BBC soundbite. Because let's be honest, protecting chickens looks great on a leaflet. But ask the steelworker whose mill is closing, or the auto plant now rethinking its UK expansion. Would they rather have competitive trade terms or reassurance that their lettuce won't be washed in chlorine? Starmer's trade philosophy seems to be this: keep the salad clean, let the country rot. If your idea of toughness is holding the line on lettuce while folding on everything that builds national strength, you're not a leader. You're a coward hiding behind salad leaves, hoping no one notices the factories going dark behind you. So what do you think? If a 10% tariff counts as success under his leadership, what does failure even look like? Let us know in the comments. And if this is how he handles power, how dangerous would it be to give him more of it? Want to see more videos like this? If yes, please like and share, and subscribe for more updates on Off Script and how events are reshaping it.